Hey everyone, welcome back to the Holistic Navigator podcast, where we talk about all things holistic health and believe in the body's ability to heal itself if given the proper nutrients and care. Thank you so much for listening today. My name is Brian Strickland, and obviously I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, but I'm the producer of the show, and today we're excited to have Cady Kuhlman in the studio with us today. Cady has a master's degree in holistic nutrition, is a wife and a new mom, and is on a mission to help educate people on how to minimize their toxic footprint. She's the founder of the group Earth Conscious Mama with the intention to build a community focused around clean, toxin-free living. And with 11 years of holistic living education and experience, she's going to guide us through on how to choose everyday household products the right way. All right, that's it for me, so let's go ahead and hand it over to the host of this show, Mr. Ed Jones.
Thank you, Brian. And we are excited for another episode of the Holistic Navigator, where you're going to get information you will rarely find anyplace else, because I've lived this life professionally for 41 years. I know what works. I know what doesn't. And I want to help everyone have this knowledge, because life is a delight, but generally only if you are feeling well and you're not suffering daily with all of the disabilities that this society seems to have. I mean, the average person's on 16 prescription drugs per year. They have brain fog. They have fatigue. They have gut issues galore. How many people, even 20-year-olds, are not walking around with constant complaints? It wasn't like that in the 60s and 70s, people. Let me tell you, we had a tougher group of people. One reason, it's not the person's fault, is that our environment has completely reversed itself. We have this sugarcoating of safety about so many things. Food, of course, one. Medical treatments, two, which many times are really sugar-coated as effective and safe, when in fact it's nothing but a profit-driven machine. And it is not the fault of the people in the healthcare system. I say this constantly. They're wonderful people, but they're in a broke system. You have two doors you have to choose from, people, as we age: the door of holistic, wise, common sense, grandmother type wisdom, because you have to put together your game plan, because we're being inundated daily by the minute, actually, to not do this. And the other door you're going to enter is the door of medication and strong conventional advice about how to manage your health, which is come to them and they will fix you. Don't worry about what you eat very much. And certainly chemicals are approved by the government, so they have to be safe. So today we're going to talk about that with Cady Kuhlman. She has a master's degree in holistic nutrition, very knowledgeable, a recent mother, lived a life of learning many natural ways, and certainly she talks the talk and walks the walk. So welcome to the Holistic Navigator, Cady.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. I love what you said about walking through either the door of natural remedies and choosing to be healthy, or walking through, sadly, the door of lots of medications. What I'd like to tell people that I talk to and really help guide on this journey, you have to be intentional about being healthy now. Health is not just something that you luck up and have. We live in a society of too many reasons to sadly not be healthy. So being healthy now takes a little bit of thought, intention, and choosing the right foods, the right water, the right skincare, the right items in your life. So that's where I'm really passionate, is to help people choose the right items.
Oh, I love that. And, you know, I'm almost 63. I remember so well in grammar school, and I think even in middle school, when you would be excited because the teacher's bringing in a movie about something. And there were so often at the end of these little educational movies, they would have this thing, obviously sponsored by a company. Of course, none of us knew then in third grade, in fifth grade, in seventh grade, the ploys that go on behind the scenes. But it would always end with better life through chemistry. And that was an illusion because there are parts of life that hasn't been improved due to chemistry. But now we're in an ocean of toxins. And I want to hear more about this, because here's the deal. When I try to counsel people on eating radically different in a more improved version, or going to the gym, those are tough to hold for many people because, it takes effort. It takes discipline. It takes a lot of hard work. Let me tell you, everyone listening, it doesn't take much effort to decrease your toxic load by the choices you make. All you have to do is be knowledgeable and switch products. You're still going to brush your freaking teeth every morning, but let's use a toothpaste that doesn't have the terrible junk in it. We're not talking just fluoride that lowers IQ. We're talking things that create neurological diseases, the perfumes, the cosmetics, the detergents, which I know you'll speak a ton about. We're not talking that this might just irritate your skin. We're talking this is destroying some people's health. Guess what? Some people are like tanks, and they can consume cigarettes, bacon for breakfast and lunch and supper, and douse themselves in chemicals and still live to be 85 and generally good. Don't let these people be your lesson in life, because the chances are you're not cut out of that same genetic mold. So let's talk about this, Cady. What does a person, should they think about when it comes to this conversation?
Yeah, definitely. So what I call is our overall body burden. So there's a lot of ways we can burden our body, as Ed mentioned. We can burden it through bad food. We can burden it through a stressful relationship, through stress. But one area we never draw attention to, what about our toxic household, personal care, and everyday items? So I want to kind of set up a scenario here. In the morning, most of us probably shower, or maybe we shower at nighttime. Either way, we get in the shower, we use a body wash, we use a shampoo and conditioner, we may use shaving cream, a face wash. Once we get out of the shower, we're going to put on a body lotion, potentially a face cream. Some females may wear some makeup, some may not. A styling product in your hair, maybe hair gel or hair oil, and a toothpaste. So that right there is 10 items being used before you have even gotten a drink of water, before you've made your coffee, or before you've eaten anything. So potentially, depending on what items you are using, the average female and male in this country are getting 515 chemicals in their morning routine. That's insane.
Wow.
515 chemicals. What I want to say about that is, our skin is our largest organ. And I think most people have heard that phrase before. But what does that mean? So, we have eyes, we have a brain, we have a heart, we have a spleen, we have kidneys. I don't think any of us intentionally would rub chemicals on any of those organs. No, they're too valuable, and we know that. Sadly, the skin is kind of just, it's there. If it doesn't, if something doesn't react or doesn't give us bumps or give us some side effect, we don't really see the effects of the chemicals on our skin. So there's almost this disconnected link in our brain as to what those chemicals are doing. Our skin is absorbing within 28 to 45 seconds. It's absorbing between 60 and 80% of what was placed on the skin. And that is going directly into our bloodstream.
And you know what? Let me interrupt you, because there's a product called DMSO, and I've used it off and on throughout my entire 40-year career for aches and pains and injuries. It has an unusual molecular structure that creates a taste in the body. I have put that on my foot and tasted it within about 3 minutes. And simply because you put something on and don't taste it doesn't mean it's not going in. It just happens DMSO has that certain molecule that makes you taste. So even though people don't feel it going in, it is going in, just like an injection, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. I mean, think about transdermal, birth control patches, or think about progesterone creams that are transdermal. That literally means those hormones, those chemicals are going directly into the skin and going into the bloodstream. Well, that's what chemicals within our everyday products do as well. A little bit on the personal care industry. So federal law has not been updated in 84 years to change what chemicals are allowed in our products.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
No, yeah.
Wow.
That means that if maybe new emerging research has shown that sodium lauryl sulfate is bad, maybe that propylene glycol is bad, maybe that fragrances are a little bit sketchy, there's still no law mandating that they cannot be in our items, meaning they're going to be in our items.
Well, here's the other thing, and I've used the analogy of a cup running over. You know what? Our bodies are real resilient. They're tough. If not, we would not have made it through the tens of thousands of years of famine and hunger and depression and weather. But the thing is, it's about the cup being full. And you can be very healthy until you get a certain level of stress, lack of sleep, chemicals in the environment, and one adds to another. It's cumulative, people. This stuff adds up like a math problem. So it's not like, oh, just I'm going to ignore it because, I'm feeling okay and this and that. It's all okay until you're not okay. And I have dealt with people for 41 years that say this same statement. You know what? I has been healthy my entire life until last month when I got the cancer diagnosis. I got the ALS diagnosis. I got this other diagnosis. No, you weren't. The cup was simply filling up. And most of these people are 45 plus. Well, guess what? If we start lowering the cup at 35 years old, maybe the disease will end up happening, but it might be 80 years old instead of the 55-year-old level. And I say this quite often, what I'm observing, because I am an astute observer of health, and after 41 years, I've seen this one occurrence. What used to happen to 75 and 80-year-olds is now hitting the 55-year-olds. Why is that? The cup is full, people. Help us to not get that cup full, Cady. What's some simple things that we can do?
Yeah, well, I want to give, before I touch on that, I'd love to just say the analogy that really hits home with me. I think when people think of chemicals within their body wash, within their toothpaste, within their detergent, they're probably thinking, oh, it's a small amount. It's probably just a little drop or two. Maybe it's just the preservative. No, it is the massive quantity of what is in that product. So just helping you read labels a little bit, as you look at the ingredients, whatever is starting off at the top is what is found in the majority of that product. So as you're getting less and, as the amount is getting less and less, then it's going to be lower at the list. So these chemicals in 95% of these conventional everyday products are the lettuce to your salad. What does that mean? They're the majority. They're not the sprinkled cheese. They're not the croutons. They are what's making up the body of this, of these products. So a lot of these chemicals currently, and you can research this, and I'm going to give you some helpful resources to do that. A lot of these chemicals have been classified as carcinogens, meaning cancer-causing agents, endocrine disruptors, meaning they literally go into your hormones and mimic your natural body's hormones. Thirdly, reproductive toxins. And I don't want to speak too much on this, but this is one of my great, great passions, is helping moms and babies live their most optimal, healthiest life. Right now, in umbilical cords of newborns that have been tested, there are over 212 chemicals found. That means before the baby has ever even breathed life on this earth, there's chemicals found in their bloodstream and in their body. So yes, the mom could have ingested some, the mom could have not watched what she ate, but a lot of that was through what was going on to their skin.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the solution is not that difficult and it's not that expensive. And with children now, it is a greater risk the smaller the human, isn't it? Because they concentrate it more.
Oh, definitely. And their body's not really ready or able to just constantly get rid of these toxins because it's so new to this world. It's a new immune system, a new liver, a new kidney. And so, yes, it is working optimally because it's new, but it's not meant to handle all the toxins that are constantly thrown at it. So I would like to give 4 resources that I find the most helpful in you figuring out the appropriate, clean, toxin-free everyday items. Now, what do I mean by everyday items? I mean detergents, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, face wash, lotions, body wash, sunless tanner, anything you can think of that's going to go onto your skin or touch your skin. These are the resources that I have the most faith in by far. Number 1 is the Environmental Working Group. They are a nonprofit organization that spends their entirety of the year, their budget, their staff, in researching quality products. The specific organization underneath the EWG is called Skin Deep. So you can go to Google, you type in EWG Skin Deep, You go to their website. They are going to rate everyday items from 1 to 10, 1 being the least toxic and the most clean, to 10 being the absolute worst and probably carcinogenic or just really detrimental to our health. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Think Dirty app. It's an app. You just go to your app store, download. It was started by Dave Asprey, a big key player in our holistic health industry. This you can actually take around to different stores and you can scan the barcode of your everyday items. You won't find every item in their database. They're still uploading and working on it, but you will find a lot. They also are going to rate the items from 1 to 10, 1 being the best to 10 being the worst. I will say there's been a little buzz about Think Dirty taking a little bit of money to rate items better than what they should be. So Think Dirty is not my absolute bottom line that I go with. I always refer back to EWG as my really good base resource.
Now, I want to interrupt 1 second because I know I've read several of your articles that you've written, and I want to make sure you mention this Facebook group before you get to the end, because some people only listen to half of the podcast. What is that Facebook group so they can learn more about your philosophy?
Yes, thank you. So because I've just seen how many people are confused, don't know where to begin, I want to empower them. I want to guide them. So I've created a Facebook group called Earth Conscious Mama. You just search that as if you were going to search someone's name. And it is a private group, but I'm happy to accept your membership into the group. This is where I discuss and I really report on what's good, what's bad, and why. So I give reasons, I give examples. One of my favorite things to do is help people do a ditch and switch. And what that means is get rid of that product and switch over to this one. So, if you trust me, it would be easy just to log on to my Earth Conscious Mama, see what I'm recommending, and make that switch for your family. If you're someone that likes to research more, read about what I'm saying, and then go to these resources. Go to EWG, go to Think Dirty, and do the research yourself.
Well, I love that because I speak this probably every other podcast. Brian would certainly agree to this, that I feel it's imperative we create a team around us to support us as far as our future health. And that team is people we trust, because the world is not trustworthy. I'm sure all of you recognize that it's, follow the money trail. There's nothing wrong with people making money, but they have to do it in a trustworthy, ethical manner. And, to get advice today, you have to go and accumulate and work with the different groups, people, websites, and websites being a huge one too, in order to accumulate your team. I mean, if you're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, you're not going to do it solo. You're going to have a team of people who help you with training, nutrition, packing your bags, helping transport. You just don't go through life completely solo, especially today with this complexity of all the internet and all the things we must embrace in order to function. So what else have you got to say for us, Cady?
Yeah, I've got 2 more resources that I would like to touch on. It's B as in baby, CPP, Breast Cancer Prevention. This is a phenomenal website that does third-party testing on companies to make sure they are free of cancer-causing agents. So this truly is an ethical company. They are making sure that what women are using does not contain parabens, does not contain phthalates, does not contain fragrances, because honestly, those things do add up in toxicity and can eventually cause the horrible C word, cancer. So bcpp.com. And one more, safecosmetics.com. Love this website. Ladies, cosmetics are a huge problem. You probably have not even thought about, okay, you're putting this lipstick on. Lipstick you are ingesting. Lipsticks contain lead, heavy metals. Oftentimes the minerals are being shipped from China. They've never had a test done on their safety. They're containing red dye 40s. We already know causes brain problems thinking. A lot of this so-called mineral-based makeup, like I said, minerals are great, but minerals can also be toxic. Mercury is toxic. Lead's toxic. So do we want minerals that are toxic on our skin? No, we don't. So safecosmetics.com. And I speak a lot about makeup on my Earth Conscious Mama site as well.
Well, and I think most of this you're talking about is clueless to the general public because, again, we are brought up to this kind of like false trusting of the government. The government is kind of like the water company here in my local city. I don't really trash the water company because they do a pretty decent job. They're not supposed to clean up all toxins. They can't and supply a town of 300,000 people. The rest of it's on me to do that. And with you, the rest of it's on people who want to be educated about these cosmetics. Now, when people say, oh, these are general terms, harm the body, toxins within the body, give me some science. Well, the science is very clear that what it's doing is damaging the mitochondrial function. What is that? That's the energy production cell of the body. When you damage it, you are going to create disease. The greatest book I've ever read, Tripping Over the Truth, talks completely about that. I encourage anyone to read it who has the big C word or has multiple diseases because it explains why that lipstick caused that disease. And this is not just fluff. It's really stuff. So what else have you got, Cady?
Definitely. So as you're talking about, beauty care items, and as I was touching on that, there is a documentary coming out called Toxic Beauty that I'm really excited. Amazon is going to have it on Amazon Prime. And then you also can go to Toxic Beauty's website. Just Google that. And there's different showings that are going to come across the country to your area, trying to get it to our local area here. But it's basically speaking about how our makeup is potentially causing us to reproduce less babies. We're at an all-time low in our country for women having reproductive health issues. And finally, coming to mainstream media is some attention on maybe the toxins in our everyday items has caused us to be less fertile and be able to have, sadly, a lot of reproductive issues. So I would like to say now, 4 chemicals that I really want to encourage you to stop using. So these are 4 items you can go look at your or 4 chemicals. You can go look right now in your bathroom, in your shower, in your detergents, and see if you have them. Number 1, phthalates. Phthalates are used to literally soften plastic. So soften plastic. Why are we putting something on us to soften a chemical already? Phthalates are used in perfume, hairspray, soaps, makeups, lotions, shower curtains, blinds, to clean your floors. Phthalates are everywhere.
Will it be listed on the bottle?
It will, actually. Okay. Yep, it will. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors, meaning mimicking your body's own natural production of hormones. We have an epidemic of people hitting puberty early. We have an epidemic of women going into menopause in their 30s. It's absurd.
How do you spell phthalates? Because I know it's unusual.
It is unusual. It's actually PH is what it begins with. PH, and I think it's PHTLATES. So it doesn't begin with a T like it sounds. It begins with a P. Number 2 chemical to avoid, fluoride. This might be somewhat controversial as a lot of people still believe in fluoride. So I would encourage you to go to PubMed, do some research yourself. If you're going to, second guess what I'm saying, I wholeheartedly encourage you to stop drinking and using fluoride toothpaste. No, I'm not a dentist, so I don't have that background. But what I do have is I have some stats on the amount of fluoride that the U.S. consumes. It is more than any other industrialized country. So 99% of Europe has banned fluoride, completely banned it. Yet the U.S., we still add it to our water and we consume it in large amounts in our toothpaste.
Wow, that's scary. That's freaking scary. And I know that I read something about a month ago that some of the bottled waters actually have fluoride added to them, but they don't list it on the ingredients, and it does lower IQ. If you want to put it on your teeth during a treatment, it's one thing, but you don't consume it every stinking day. It makes no sense, does it?
It doesn't make sense. And just one anecdotal small story. I have never used fluoride toothpaste. I've never had a cavity. So, yep.
Well, and again, that doesn't absolutely prove anything, but quit trying to have absolute proof. We have some kind of addiction to academia in this country, and the new religion is these research data, and there's importance to have with that research. We need people who are studying, but the thing is 70% of all the conclusions that come out of research are being funded for a goal of selling something.
Mm-hmm. Third chemical to avoid, parabens. Parabens have now been classified as a direct link to breast cancer. Direct link there, people. It mimics estrogen. That's as simple as it can be. Please avoid parabens. Parabens are found in everything. Lastly, fragrances. This is a big one for me. So in order to make the smell of a fragrance, so when you smell that like Febreze or you smell that Bath & Body Works candle, in order for that company to make that, there's a potential amount of chemicals they can use. 3,164 chemicals, to be exact, are allowed to be used as fragrances. The company does not have to disclose what chemicals those are, the sourcing, any link to health on any of those fragrances. They simply can throw any of those 3,000 chemicals into that product. You will find them listed on your products as fragrances, as perfume, as aroma. They're used in detergents, they're used in fabric softeners, they're used in dryers, body sheets, lip glosses, cleansers. They are simply synthetic toxins that are adding to our body's burden.
Well, I have to admit that one of my weak points is not junk food. It's actually cologne. I really, really like the good quality colognes. Something about it. I don't know. But again, it's all about the cup. I empty my cup on so many areas of life that it gives you room to do some of the few things that you really enjoy, even if it is toxic. So it's not like living in a cave, is it? It's about using common sense and picking products that you already use. You just simply shop somewhere else for more purity. And those the two pieces of information on the apps and the website, I mean, you don't need to be going out, people, and trying to evaluate every product. You have too busy of a life. So let Cady, let Holistic Navigator, let these websites really do the work for you and shop at places that really care. I mean, one of our main sponsors is nutritionw.com, which we partner with. They have the best ethics of anyone in town or in the country, and they have online ordering, and there's nothing they have that would probably not please you. So
thank you. I totally agree. We are too busy to constantly have to research. So find your guides, find your toolbox. Before we go here, I do want to draw attention. I challenge you, actually, is what I do, to go look at 4 everyday items in your household. These 4 that I would like to point out. Number 1, your detergent. Maybe you don't wash your clothes every day, but you are wearing your clothes every day. So essentially you're wearing what you washed, your clothes in. There's a term that I want to throw out here called green washing. It is very, very common in our society, especially with detergents. Companies have found that if they put green colors on the detergent bottle, if they put flowers, if they say plant extracts, if they say natural, if they say grown with love, if they make you feel warm and fuzzy, then it's called greenwashing. And sadly, then you don't turn it around and look at the ingredients because you put your trust in what the marketing did for that bottle. It's a sad reality in our world. So I really want to draw attention to greenwashing. I have fallen for it. You've probably fallen for it. I currently right now, just to give a name of one product that I love, Molly's Suds, best detergent that I've ever found, hands down. Clean, clean, clean. Number 2 common product that I really want you to go look at, your toothpaste. Just go look at the amount of chemicals that you potentially can't read even the name of or unsure of what they're doing. Those are directly either being swallowed or going into the bloodstream. Chemicals like sodium lauryl sulfate that we actually clean up blood spills and wrecks with because it's such a harsh cleaning agent. It strips everything. We don't need to strip everything all the time. Number 3, please go look at your makeup. Now, like I touched on earlier, leads, mercuries, heavy metals, all found in our makeup, especially in our lipsticks and lip gloss. Number 4, please review your body wash. Body wash, you're in the shower, the hot water is pouring on you, your cells, your everything's opening up, your pores, because that hot water is relaxing, opening them up. So it's opening them up, and then there goes chemicals lathered straight onto your skin. Please, please, please choose a clean body wash. My recommendation currently, and I'm always staying up to date, so this could change in a little bit, but it has consistently for years. My recommendation has been Dr. Bronner's.
Absolutely. And I met Dr. Bronner back in the late 70s and 80s. Coolest guy. He was blind. And he had such a spirit about him. And he really, and the bottle is quite odd when you read all the philosophies that he's printed on there. But I'm telling you, I have used Dr. Bronner's for 40 years. Again, it's one of those little simple methods to keep my cup from being full. So any last thing you want to say? And again, I want you to remind people about the Facebook so that they can go in there. I know you talk a lot about cosmetics on there. I know you talk a lot about life and choices and what you can do. And it's not long articles. It's very simple, very to the point, and you're living it and you're sharing it. And that's very important.
Thank you. Yeah. So Earth Conscious Mama, really, really big passion of mine. I want people to live their most vital lives. And I don't feel like we possibly can feel our absolute best if we are going into Target, we're picking up our chemical detergent. We're picking up our fragrant smelling candles. We're picking up our makeup that we have no idea what's in it. I just want to help empower people, and I want to make it easy and simple. But I also want to give you items that work. So don't think just because I'm really switching us to all things natural that you're going to have, a terrible smelling detergent or, a bad working makeup. No, it's not true. There are ways that we can make all these products safe and perform well. And that's where I really want to hit that balance.
Well, I know we try to shoot for about 30 minutes on these. We're a slight bit over. I got to talk about two things really quickly. One is, again, people are very concerned about the deodorant or eliminating smell under their arms. First off, it's not an exact science. And sometimes when you've used really bad deodorants for many years, you actually have to go through an armpit detox. And it's not a fantasy. It's actually a real thing because you've kind of concentrated all these internal chemicals and they're backlogged and they almost have to come out. So sometimes that's why the natural remedies don't work at first, but it's really a process of detoxing. And you do need to experiment. I have a couple different deodorants that work better than the other ones. So don't give up if that's not working. Lastly, my absolute most probably irritating environmental toxin, which again in our house is killing us more than when we're out in the city, is Febreze and those plug-in, I almost could say a cuss word, those plug-in air fresheners. Cady, for 60 seconds, tell me and everyone how bad they are. They are complete toxic garbage. Please, there was one thing you were going to get from today. Please do not use Febreze. Febreze does not eliminate odors. It actually just causes you to not smell the odor because the fragrances are literally blocking your smells of anything else because they're so strong. The company that makes Febreze, which is P&G, is actually only disclosing 3 ingredients in their product. But the EWG went further, the resource that I told you about earlier, and found 87 chemicals within Febreze. 87. Wow.
There's fragrances, there's propylene glycol, there's ethyl acetate, there's BHT, which is a known neurotoxin. There's acetaldehyde, which is known to cause cancer. There are 87 of these chemicals. So please do not use those plugins. Please don't spray it around, especially if you have young babies and kids and elderly and anyone. Just don't use it. But
and thank you so much. You just a world of information today. And again, these plug-in environmental things, you're exposing yourself for every hour you're in the house. At least if you're eating something unhealthy, you're doing it for that hour. When you're sleeping into that environment, you're just asking for trouble. So again, our main sponsor, nutritionw.com, has many of these products, but there's plenty of good companies out there. We're certainly not saying there's only one. So, be a wise consumer. And thank you, Cady, for joining the Holistic Navigator. And
thank you so much.
You're welcome. And, I read this quote just about an hour ago. It said, "The non-toxic life is not expensive. It's priceless." And that's so true. And then one that I wrote, it says, "The foods you consume plus the exposure to daily environmental toxins has now become our slowest form of poison." And it truly has. So, everybody, thank you for listening. We'll look forward to the next episode. I got a whole bunch of exciting things always on the drawing board. But please email us, if you have a question or a request for some information. And all the best to you on a wonderful week, and we will meet again next time. Thank you.
The information on this podcast and the topics discussed have not been evaluated by the FDA or anyone of the medical profession and is not aimed to replace any advice you may receive from your medical practitioner. The Holistic Navigator assumes no responsibility or liability whatsoever on the behalf of any purchaser or reader of these materials. The Holistic Navigator is not a doctor, nor does he claim to be. Please consult your physician before beginning any health regimen.